Hello. Gosh, I don't like the lighting today. It's like so orange. Hold on. I'm going to try to turn the light down for a second. I'll be right back. That's better. I think my light is kind of cool and I think it was too bright. You know, I'm a photographer and everything, so I'm going to be picky about the lighting situation. I'm waiting for a new camera to come in. I have tested so many webcams and they're all terrible. Like I think the laptop camera looks better. So right now I just have my laptop on a box so that it's a good angle for the chin. And I have my coffee. So go grab your beverage of choice. I'm excited about the conversation today. It's one of my favorite things to teach and talk about in my coaching. And it's kind of the foundation of the process of deliberate creation in your life. So, I'm going to talk about the creative cycle today. I'm going to talk about how to kind of map out whatever it is you desire, like determine what those goals are. And we'll kind of pick a couple goals and then kind of the process, the outline of the process to get you there. And this is a lot of what I do in my coaching program. So if you're interested in any of my courses or coaching, you can go to HeidiHopeLearning.com and use the code YouTube for any of that. You can also find my art on HeidiHopeArt.com. So I had a phone call with one of my good friends who's gone through my programs before this morning, and she was saying that she got to like a breaking point or a burnout point within her business. And she had gone on vacation and she had this big, like, she finally relaxed and had this emotional release and was just like, I want to divorce my life. I want to divorce my business. I want to divorce, like, I don't want to wake up and feel like I'm walking into a prison every day. And I think that's where a lot of people get when they start this type of work, which is like, there has to be a better way. There has to be a way to like marry my goals and what I want to achieve in life with having like an enjoyable process to get there. Can I achieve my goals like without the burnout, without the struggle, without sacrificing like things that are important to me, like travel or time with my family or whatever? So, and that's just career related because I work with a lot of women who are high achievers, who have strong careers, who just kind of similar to my own demographic and what I went through, that get to the same point, and then we all kind of use the same process to find the better way. But this goes for anything. Like it can go for getting into the like any goal that you have, any dream that you have for yourself, getting into the college that you want. It could be um, winning the lottery. I don't care. Whatever the goal is, like your goals aren't crazy. Anything's possible. Anything is possible with this process. It could be health and healing related. It could be fitness related. It could be your relationships. It could be finding your soulmate. Like it could be just making relationships better, making your relationship with your parents better, making your relationship with your spouse better. So this process works for all the things. And that's what makes it so magical. And that's why I like to teach it and talk about it. And there's always, here's the thing, like once you start doing this, and I always encourage you to like start doing it in little ways because like our mind, it's a lot of it's about our own belief and the power of our belief. And so our mind thinks like big things, like a lottery win. That's sort of what I'm working on now because I'm like, I want to do something crazy that I want to call in something really that people that would be like, wow, that really does work. You know what I mean? Because I've done a lot of other things, like built a really great career and businesses and designed the life that we love. And I have a beautiful family that I'm so grateful for. So I've drawn a lot of big goals to me. And now I want to do something like that's over the top because I just think it would be fun. And I like to do what's fun. I'm an Enneagram 7. If you know your Enneagram number, you can put it into the comments. Even if you're watching the replay, I go back and watch all the comments. So you can put your Enneagram number. I want to know what you are. Can you guess what I am? 7. So that's like your Enneagram number is like, what is your core motivations in life? Like in anything that you pursue, what's that like core motivation? And so Enneagram 7s like to have fun. So things that are fun draw me in. So I really wanted work to feel fun too. And I've always had a creative career, but there were times that I overdid it and experienced a lot of burnout. And we can get into that on another day. Um, but I do think that's where a lot of people start, that their results in their life are not matching their goals, that they're falling short of their goals in one way or another. Or the other thing that's really common is people get what they want and they're still not happy. Like they reach the goal, they get the achievement, and they're like, this doesn't feel as good as I thought it would. And that kind of happened with me in my business too, maybe 10 years ago. Um, and so I think the thing is when we get the goal and it doesn't feel good, it's usually because we didn't feel good the whole way through. It should feel good getting to your goal. It should, I mean, it can be challenging and there can be hard parts of it, but like it should be fun too. So I like to marry the two. Um, I think a lot of people also set goals that aren't aligned. They're not truly like their core desires. So that's what we're going to talk about today is like determining what those are. But a lot of times if it's not in alignment with like your core desires and who you are as a person and it's not fun getting there, it's not worth it in the end. Like you get to the peak of the mountain, if the hike wasn't fun, that peak experience only lasts for how long? You know, how long are you celebrating the win? And then it's over. So like how can every day feel like winning? I think that's the question. How can you feel like you're winning every day? And like Heather said, like not walking into a prison, but like walking into something that you're excited about. Of course, everything has its moments, but and I just think most of us in our this generation like haven't been taught how, and our kids probably haven't been taught how either. And she really wants me to make a teen program to help moms help their kids with like visioning their life in the right direction too. So that will probably come, but first I have to like I feel like I have to prove things before I teach them. So I have to like I'm my own experiment first, and I have to prove it, and then like if I can prove some big things, then I'll start developing from there. But I will say that in my coaching program, which is just a monthly membership, those women, like seeing them all achieve their dreams, and some of their dreams were crazy. Like one, not crazy, nothing's crazy. Everything's possible. Everything's achievable. But like one was in the beginning wanted was like, I really want a pony. And I know that sounds so crazy, like and silly and childish, but like her inner child, like that she really did. And she did by the end of the year, she had horses or ponies or whatever. I don't know. I don't work with horses, but so it was like it's funny and wild, but and some of them are real big things too, like big career shifts or just things that you think are impossible, they are possible. Like anything you can dream of. So you might as well be kind of crazy with your dreams. You might as well like how good could it get? That's what I always ask. Like how could this be even better? How could, even and you don't have to make radical changes in your life, but in an area that isn't fun and doesn't feel good and is frustrating or hard or whatever, a struggle for you, it's like, how could this be better? And that's the seed of creation. Like that is like how everything is created first in thought. So, okay, so let me go into the creative cycle. So this is how it starts is the question. And it is like, what if this were like, how could this be more amazing? How could this be more fun? How could I have more passion? How could I enjoy this more? And that's just within circumstances within your life. How could this relationship be better? How could whatever be better? The nature of humans and all of life is to create and expand. Create and expand. So even when you hit a goal, there's going to be another, like I said, you hit the peak of the mountain. Okay, the peak's over and you celebrate and whatever. Like, what's next? This happens to a lot of people in career changes or in retirement. It's like, well, now what? Because our urge, our impulse, the impulse of life is to expand and create. So even if you hit the lottery and retire for the rest of your life, like well, now what am I going to do? Like, I'm still here, I'm still breathing, you know? And so finding your passion and your purpose, but you don't have to wait till retirement to do that. Is my point. You can start infusing every day in your life with those things. So let's talk about the cycle of creation and how it works, because that's really important. Um, oh, I wanted to share a creative project with you too. I'll do that at the end. I was going to do that at the beginning. So first is getting in touch with a desire. Desire is the impulse of creation. So we have to want something to create it, right? And if you think of it like in quantum physics terms, everything's energy, and thought is energy, and thought is before creation. So, like, everything that exists, my laptop, this coffee cup, that plant behind me, my paintings behind me, all of these things before they existed were a thought in the mind of the creator. And then we turn that thought into something physical through a process. So the desire to create something is the impulse that creates. So the first thing is like, what do I desire? It's like, what do I want? What do I want this to look like? What do you want your life to look like? What do you want your job to look like? What do you want your relationship to look like? So defining that from within is really important. Like, exactly what do you want? Not what society told you, not what your parents told you, not what your teachers told you, not what the external world tells you, like not what Instagram tells you successful. Like, what does success look like to you? And really envisioning that. That's hard. A lot of people don't take the time to do that. Like, my daughter is applying to college in the fall, and she doesn't have to, I'm like, I don't even care what you want to do for a job. And I tell her this all the time. Like, I don't care what your degree is in. That go into something that you're interested in and that you're passionate about, but like, you can make your life look like anything you want, and it's not necessarily attached to your degree. So really think about that, like picking colleges. I was like, where do you want to live? What do you want it to feel like? Like, what restaurants do you want to go to? What's your everyday life? What do you want that to look like? Especially in the field that she's going into. I guess, like, if you're going to be a lawyer or a doctor, maybe it matters more, but in her field, it doesn't really matter where her degree is from. So it's really about the experience of life. And to be honest, I wish I had known that a lot sooner for all things, for all things, but it's okay. It's all life experience. I know it now, and I can share it now. So really get in touch with the desired outcome, like the thing you want to create in your life. Then having that clear intention is the first step. So the first step of creating anything you want in your life, even a lottery win, is a clear intention. So clear intention. This is the phase where we might like research. If we don't know exactly what the answer to that question is, we might research, like, let's just say a career. We might research possible careers. We might look around to other business models. We might look around to other people who are successful and happy. We might just ask ourselves, like, do I want time for me? I'll just use myself as an example. Like, do I want time to paint in my day? Do I want to work from home or from an office or from the beach? A big thing for me was like location flexibility. I didn't like having to go into my studio every day. Like, when I was on a beach vacation, I wished I could have worked from the beach. I wished, I did feel stuck in a place. So that has been part of the design for me. Think about how do you want to feel every day? That's another big one to get in touch with too. Like, how do I want to feel? Whatever the goal is, let's say my goal is a fitness goal. How would I feel? Like, if I was in really great shape, how would I feel? I still practice this like every day when I'm on my walks or when I'm working out or whatever, getting in touch with the desired feeling of strong, energetic, like core desired feelings. A good book for that is The Desire Map. Danielle Laporte's book, The Desire Map. She really goes into how to define those core desired feelings. So if that's like not something that you regularly get in touch with, her book is really good. So it's really like, whatever goal we want, we don't want it for the goal. We want it, even if it's, let's say it's a lottery win, right? Why do we want to win the lottery? what's the feelings that we think we're going to experience in the life after the lottery win or any other goal. So what is the feeling that we want to feel with our health goals? What are the feelings that we want to feel in our relationship goals? And writing those down is step 2 in this process. So step 1 is like, what is the goal? Clear intention, exactly what I want it to look like in great detail. Like, it should feel like when you're writing the details of the life that you want, it should feel like you're already in that life. Like, that's how descriptive it should be. Then what are the feelings that I want to feel when I get there? This is where the magic is in this process. It's practicing those emotions before you have the outcome. Because our thoughts determine our emotions. Our emotions create chemical reactions within our body, like fearful emotions create reactions in the body. Joyful emotions create different chemicals in the body. So when we have a thought, we have the emotion, we have the chemical reaction within our body, and our body gets used to that state. If I think about the past or the future or whatever, and I trigger an emotion, my brain and my body's biology doesn't actually know if it's happening now or in the past or in the future. So what most people do is they keep either fearing the future or replaying the past, and they're bringing up either fear emotions or anger at the past or unforgiveness or whatever from the past. And their body gets stuck in that cycle, and our bodies like homeostasis. So our bodies just like to replay the way that we feel every single day. So if you wake up every single day and you look at social media and you feel anxious, or if you wake up every day and you're like angry to start the day because this day is going to be terrible, and your body gets addicted to that. And the only way to change that is to interrupt it, and you train yourself to have a different personality. Basically, you have to train yourself to feel different emotions, like practice feeling excited for your day, all those things. And then you start to change the chemistry in your body. And like I said, your brain and body don't know if it's real or if it's not real. Like it doesn't know. So once you can get your body into a new state, a new normal, you start to attract and create in your life, because when you start taking inspired action, you start creating from a different energy and frequency, and then everything around you starts to change. So it starts with the thought and the belief that it's possible and the clear intention, and then it's practicing those elevated emotions of what I desire. So with fitness, if you're working out and you're working out from a place of like trying to like fear of bad health, or fear of gaining weight, or I hate my body or anything like that. If you're working out from like negative emotions, it's really not as powerful as if when you're working out, you're rehearsing how strong you feel. You're thinking about how energetic you are. You're thinking about how powerful you are. And it doesn't matter if you really believe what you're practicing or not. Like, it doesn't, if you're like, but I'm not fit. I'm not fit. Well, if you keep feeling not fit, you're going to stay not fit. Like, the brain body connection is really important. Mind, body, and emotional connection is really important. So having that, practicing the thought and the emotion and trying to really get yourself to feel it. Feeling is the magic part. Feeling is the attraction point. So getting yourself to feel it while you're doing it is so important. And same thing with like if you're working out and you're just mindless, or like watching a TV show, you're watching reality TV and just like walking on the treadmill. It's not as powerful as if you're bringing your whole body into it and like feeling fit as you're doing it, feeling strong as you're doing it, feeling whatever the core desired feelings are that made you get on the treadmill. What's the motivating thought and feeling that originally got you to take the action? You have to feel those things while you're doing the action. And this is so important with work too, because a lot of times we get like fired up about an idea, or we're excited. We're excited to make the money. We're excited to make the sale or whatever it is in our career. But while we're doing the actual thing that gets us there, we're feeling terrible or disgruntled or frustrated or annoyed with people or whatever, and or tired or burnt out. And it's just not a very powerful place to get results from. So if you can keep the feeling of the or the desire of the goal achieved, the feeling of that, the emotion of the goal achieved while you're doing the action, it's just like really cuts down on how hard it is. It makes things so much more easy. It makes things effortless, like doors open and opportunities present themselves. But it's staying in those elevated emotions. And that we have to practice how to do that, because no one taught us how to do that. And most of us are in cycles of not that. Not that. Like I always say, how much of your day are you like thinking happy thoughts? So there's like always a voice in your head. And that those thoughts are really powerful. And we need to consciously direct them in a positive way, because if we keep thinking negative thoughts, and they say, like, I don't even know, it's like 90% of your thoughts are the same thoughts you thought the day before. Like most of our thinking is repetitive thinking, basically. And those same thoughts trigger emotions, and those emotions trigger biological responses in our body, and they change our chemistry. And this is proven. Like if you can change all of that, you can change your biology. You can get out of survival mode and you can get into creation mode. And when you're in the creative energies, which are higher frequency energies, you can draw more of that to you. More of your life is going to start to match your new self. So it's like one of Joe Dispenza's book is Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. So it really is like, hold on. If like Heather said, I want to divorce my life. If I'm like looking around myself and saying like, oh, like this isn't a match for what I really want, you have to become a match for like what you do want. So what you're looking around at is a result of how you've been operating. If you want to change what's out there, you have to step into the new person and the new personality first, and then the exterior begins to match that. So what does it look like to win? What does it look like to make the sale? What does it look like to create the masterpiece? What does it look like to write the book? What does it look like to have the good relationship? And like, who is the person that you have to become to have all of that? And can you start practicing being that person now? And you can start in little ways. Like you don't have to overhaul the whole thing. But for me right now, like one of my goals is around fitness and health. And so every day in small ways, I'm practicing and I'm thinking like, can I make these choices, whether it's exercise or food or whatever, can I make those choices from the version of the person that I want to become, from the goal achieved? What does that person like? How do they feel? How do they act? What do they do? And it's really like you're making choices because that person is happy and in love with life and in love with themselves. And how it's really making a choice out of love instead of fear. And so can that motivate what I'm doing, and like always making it from that place. And that's it. And then after you have those three things, you can take inspired action, which is the daily practice of doing it with practicing the new emotions and practicing being that person. And then it's also like a level of surrender. And like I just trust that if I show up every day in this energy, it's all about the energy. It really is. If I show up in this energy every single day, that I believe and trust that will happen exactly what I mapped out in my desires, or something better. So that's why I'm always like this or better, this or better. So that's the whole cycle. It's the desire, clear intention, defining your intention, practicing elevated emotions through desired action every single day. And then once you get the goal and you achieve it, giving yourself some time to rest and in that rest, we create a new desire. There will always be another desire, another level, another experience that you want to have. Like you get to be down here on earth as a human. What do you want to experience? You know? And so there will always be that desire to create and expand within you no matter what. That's why when people retire, they're like, now what? And maybe they're going to travel and maybe they're going to do all the things they always wish that they could do. The point is, you don't have to retire. You don't have to be at retirement age to be able to start experiencing the life that you want to experience. I just think it's crazy, and it's an old paradigm that, like, I remember getting into being an art teacher and being like, oh my gosh, I have like 40 more years of this or whatever, 30 more years of this. I don't even remember how long you had to work before you retired, but I can remember thinking like my heart sinking and being like, well, first of all, I just worked so hard for this degree and all of my certifications and all that stuff. And then thinking like, oh, I got to do this for how many more years until I can retire and then live the life that I want to live. It's like, that's crazy. Why do we do that? You don't have to do that. I think that old paradigm is fading away and people are realizing there are so many different ways to make money. It's not just about money. It really is about like living your life. You gotta live your life and enjoy it, right? Okay, I want to talk about one of my new creative projects. I hope that was helpful to you guys. Please leave comments for me, even if you're not joining live. I still like to go back and check the comments and see what people's questions are and stuff. I thrive off of conversation and answering questions. I just think I like to co-create with people. So tell me your thoughts and ask me your questions. This is one of my creative projects that I'm working on right now. This is really just for fun. Everything I'm doing right now is just for fun, truly. And I feel thankful to be in a position now to be able to do that. So these are paint party bags, and they're really cute. They include, this is actually the wrong water. This is my prototype. So some of this stuff isn't going to be in the final, but basically it's like, you can get the bag. It's for 1 to 4 people, depending on how much you want to paint. And it's got like a little watercolor set. It's got brushes and cups. And then it's got some blank sheets. And then it's got a bunch of my hand-drawn postcards. So you can like paint the postcard. This is a St. Augustine theme one. It's got magnolia orange, the Florida orange, little martini glasses, it's like opposite on here. The St. Augustine Lighthouse. One of my kids is like, I'm sure it's Grant, stomping around. So it's just fun. You get it with your friends, get together, and you can paint without an instructor, basically. It's just to get into flow state. Flow state is really important for peak performance. This is a great thing for like companies to do as like a little team building thing. It's great for a girls' night out. It's great for like a bachelorette party to like have at the house. Just for something to do. I'm going on a girls' trip in October to Destin, Florida. And I'm going to do a little Destin bag and bring it on. So like we could just do it at the house but like, I don't have to teach it. It's just like, we just sit and like have fun and get into flow state and grab a drink. And it's just a cute little activity. I'm going to do some kids bags and ones for Christmas, the holidays too, because it's a fun activity. You're like, I feel like you're always looking for an activity to do at a party, like something fun and little to do. So that's what these are, little paint party bags. I can also customize them for an event or a business if you would like me to, and I can draw custom drawings for the postcards, like anything you want. Anything you want is possible in the paint party bag and also in life. Anything is possible. So I want you, after today, listening to this show, I want you to write down three big crazy goals. Like, what if this happened? I'm telling you, I'm working on my lottery win. Do you know most lottery winners like knew that they were going to win before they won? So I won't tell you here on YouTube when I win the lottery, but that's one thing I'm working on. Because I just want I want big, crazy, impossible things. I want to show that they're possible. So that's what I'm going to do. And you guys are along for the ride. So thanks for being here. All right. If you haven't yet subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. I'll be live every Tuesday and Thursday. And if you have any ideas for what you want me to talk about, feel free to leave it in the chat or the comment section if you're watching the replay. And I will see you next Tuesday. That's funny. Sorry.